Recently in a podcast, Logan Paul confesses that he has had an encounter with Jesus Christ. Now, what does this mean for Logan Paul going forward, the Impulsive podcast? Does this mean that Logan and George Janko are going to mend their relationship and Logan's going to correct what he did wrong? Does this mean that Logan's going to turn a new leaf and now follow Christ and surrender his life to him? What all does this mean going forward? Well, in today's video, we will discuss those questions as well as talk about what Logan means when he says he has encountered Jesus Christ. And if you don't know what's going on, basically Logan Paul recently fought Dylan Dennis in a dumpster fire of a boxing match. It was pretty rough to see. I just saw the highlights. It looked real bad, real rough. Logan ended up winning the fights after round 5, after mass chaos struck the center arena. Security broke out, everything was going crazy, and it was just a big dumpster fire of a fight. And so with that, he had this podcast after and was discussing the fight and discussing things. And in this discussion, he said that before the fight even started, he knew that because of the emotions and the anger that Dylan had stirred up from the inappropriate pictures and videos that were shared of Logan's fiance all over social media platforms, that he was angry and he was upset, and it got under his skin to the point where he knew if he were to go into the fight with these emotions, he would probably end up losing the fight. So in order for him to avoid this loss, he needed to meditate and figure out how to kind of clear his mind from this. And in that process of meditating with his fiance, he said he kept hearing the word forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. And right there, he said, is when he encountered Jesus Christ in his meditation and realized this is what Christianity as a whole is all about, is the forgiveness. And I need to forgive Dylan in order to win this fight. And so he just says that he forgave Dylan and that he had that hard conversation with his fiance, but she was actually all for it. And so it sounded like in this whole discussion, if you're listening to it, Logan has turning a new leaf, and he's talking about Jesus in this moment. He's talking about forgiveness in this moment. But in the midst of all of this, of course, when he says this, his co-host screams out, with the F word and excitement. The guys next to him who were talking with him are clapping. People behind the cameras you can hear are clapping. The F word is being dropped multiple times. And Logan even says the GD word. I mean, it's a mess in all of this. And he even said, people and everything are going to laugh at me. And for reasons of, because he gave George Janko, a previous person on his podcast, such a hard time about his personal relationship with the Lord. So with all this being said, guys, what does this mean for the Impulsive podcast? Well, in all honesty, guys, it really means absolutely nothing. Logan has not confessed that Jesus is Lord of his life. He has not given his life over to Christ and kind of flipped his life to glorify the Lord. He's still doing what he does. We can still be praying for Logan in this time, praying that people in his life would be pouring into him the truth of the gospel of salvation that Christ offers freely to sinners. So we could be praying for Logan, but we can also just not expect anything different from Logan. He hasn't changed how he is. He hasn't changed what he does. In fact, a lot of people were questioning the forgiveness because of the things that were said before the fight from Logan, and it just didn't seem like genuine forgiveness. And then people are also questioning the forgiveness because there is still a lawsuit, and Logan and his fiance are still trying to take Dylan Dennis down and basically make him bankrupt for everything he's done against Logan's fiance. So to me, there still is no forgiveness there, genuine, true forgiveness. This was just something Logan kind of mustered up, but we need to be praying, and we need to be patient and be praying for all parties involved. This is the reality of people who don't know Christ and what ends up happening, sadly, and that is just doing foolish, stupid things. And this is what we see from both sides. And without Christ, without that rock, without that cornerstone in your life, you'll continue to seek after the world, seek after things of the world. You'll continue to feed off of the people's emotions around you instead of looking to point to Christ to see how you can glorify and honor Him in your day to day. So be praying for Logan in this time. Be praying that the seeds that have been planted in his life would be fruitful and grow, that the Lord would be the one who brings the increase as those around him have watered and planted seeds.